Welcome to Conjure the Cocktail, where we merge witchcraft and craft cocktails. I'm Prairie Rose. I am a booze writer and podcast host and a beverage educator, and I'm a little bit witchy.
And I'm Angela Lovell. I'm a psychic medium, an indigo child, a whole bunch of weird stuff, and a witch. And I'm a little bit boozy.
So we are almost upon another full moon. I feel like we just had a full moon, but another month has come.
Time isn't real. We have full moons constantly.
What is time?
What?
Time is a construct. And so June 5th is our full moon in June. And that is referred to as the strawberry moon. And that is named so because the Algonquin tribe, the Native American tribe in the northeast of the United States, named it for the strawberry harvest. This was when the strawberry harvest was peaking and they needed to pick it. And the strawberry harvest is only, I guess technically it's only 2 to 3 weeks that they're good. So it's a really short span of time, and they were really valuable berries. Right? So, of course, they named the June full moon the strawberry moon. I love it. It's so romantic.
It really is. Oh, and even what you found out about honeymoon.
Oh, right. Yeah. So there's all this stuff. It's also referred to, has many names. It's also referred to as the rose moon and the hot moon and the mead moon. And then June's biggest history as the moon or the honeymoon, which is made of wine made from fermented honey, and it's one of the original spirits that humans ever created, and of course the Queens created it. And I love that is somehow it's like part of our culture. We don't even know that the pagans created that, but most things. But I love that. They called it honeymoon, and honeymoon actually came from that because so many people got married in June, and then they would travel after that and take their honeymoon, their post-wedding vacation. So, yeah, I love that. And also in Europe, it was known as the rose moon because it was the month that the gardens were at their peak and everything was in full bloom. So we're really I feel like this is such a beautiful, rich time of year. It's right before summer solstice, right? And in between Beltane. And there's a lot of moon magic that we're going to talk about, that Angela's going to talk about.
Yes. There's so much moon magic. I have like a love-hate relationship with the full moon. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with it, and then sometimes I absolutely hate it. It's never like my whole life. It's always been like the first 3 days leading up to a full moon. I'm wild and insane, and it throws my sleep schedule off, and I'm a mess.
Yeah.
And then it breaks, and I'm like, oh, thank God. It feels like someone's having sex with me constantly in a weird way. Like I'm so
right. Yeah.
for like 3 days.
Lunacy comes from that, right? I mean, I think that humans have for so long been ruled by the moon, especially women. Our cycles are aligned to it. Us are more in tune with it still than others. But yeah, it can be crazy making. And I sometimes forget when the full, I don't always pay attention. And if I'm able to sleep, and I'm a pretty good sleeper, but if I have insomnia or something, I usually point to the fact that it's a full moon or something. Yeah. Or I have crazy dreams too.
And I am a triple fire sign, which is why I can sit this close to a fire and not be scared about catching on fire.
Oh yeah, you've got a fire next to you.
Yeah, a big fire. I have a big fire next to me.
Ooh.
I dream for full moon to have a freaking bonfire. Like it's all I can jump over it constantly. But yeah, fire signs. I had this ex I dated who was an Aries, and we would get together, build a fire, stare into it for hours, and drink in silence. and then have sex, which is witchcraft. I mean, that's witchcraft.
I mean, yeah, yeah, right. Well, like you get into like a meditative state, I'm sure. You're staring into the fire and drinking, and that's what
it was great. It was great while it lasted. The full moon is so fun in so many ways. It's a time of fruition, and we're gonna talk more about all the moons, but new moon is sort of like when it begins. Full moon is the end of the moon cycle. New moon is kind of when you set intention, and then full moon is when everything just like comes to fruition. So now everything that you wanted, it's not too late. You can absolutely do new magic. But the full moon is so good for manifesting goals, money, fulfillment. It's great for dreams, like any dream work. I've manifested some really great love affairs on the full moon. And it's a really great one for healing. Like there was probably a period of about 4 months that I worked with the full moon exclusively to heal from a really bad relationship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, don't witches a lot of times, don't people recommend that you do the most powerful magic is available to you during the full moon, right? Yeah. It isn't that when you should be like manifesting the most and doing your sort of most powerful spells?
Yes, I absolutely feel this way. And it's sort of it's because there are a lot of witches who think like you do that on the new moon, but new moon is kind of just like setting the course, and full moon is when you're just like, it's the time to get wild. It's the time to build a fire, dance naked in the moonlight. There are a lot of women I know who like to lie in the moonlight naked and recharge their bodies.
Oh, moon bathing, right? That's a thing. Yep. Moon bathing.
And as many people know, it's the night that you put out all your crystals. We're going to talk about putting out bottles of spirits to charge them, put them with intention. You can make moon water, which I always make moon water with ocean water, like salt water.
Yeah.
A little bottle, and I charge it with the moon, and then it's like mega magical.
So how do you do that? Do you take, I know you've mentioned this on our Instagram too, but do you, you could take any amount of water, put it in a bottle, and then put it out in the moonlight all night long, and that just charges it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when I was still in my apartment in LA, I had like a 2-hour window where the moon would pass over my tiny little plant balcony. And I had this giant tray that I would load up with all my, I read people. I work as a professional psychic, and I have a lot of tools that I like to use. I put those in the moonlight to recharge them. And anything. I mean, you can put your keys in the moonlight. You can put anything in the moonlight, and it boosts it. It absolutely boosts it.
Yeah. And then what do you use later on? You use the water for? Like you use that in spells and.
Yeah. I put in spells, and I also add the salt water to my bath, because before you do magic, you should always do a purification. That would be a great episode for us to do, non-alcoholic.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like cleanse your energy and sort of re-anoint yourself to get ready to be a magical being, which is very important with the full moon. You should take a bath. You should use a salt scrub. I mean, it's pretty easy to get clean, and you've already set your intention, so it's like your energy will match the full moon. Most people are not exhausted in a full moon. Most people are wired, so there's like so much energy going through you. I always like to kind of see. I never plan a full moon night of magic. I wait and see how I feel and what.
Really?
Yeah, I wait and see what they tell me to do. And usually it's funny because I'll be like, should I cast a circle? Should I do this? Should I do that? And they're like, dance. They always just
dance. And when you say they, you mean
my guides.
Yeah. Guides.
My healthy ancestors. I try to block out the unhealthy ancestors, as we all should, but it's not always possible.
The toxic ancestors.
The ones who would have voted incorrectly ancestors.
We have those.
It's so sad. Yeah, it's a time to push magic into the world and start to feel the results of everything you've been working towards. Like they're all kind of coming into this ball of fire, and it's also a time of gratitude because now you've been doing the manifestation. But this is also it's like a great time to do. You can do love work. You can call in money. But I think today we're going to focus on banishing.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
And
start with banishing, or where should we go from here?
We can start with banishing. I can talk about the cocktail a little bit that's inspired from this. I mean, I was so inspired by, I went into like a deep wormhole into this strawberry moon. And I love it so much. It's and the strawberry is related. It's part of the rosacea plant, which is related to the rose, and this is also known as the rose moon in Europe. And everything is in bloom. It's I think that's such a beautiful thing about this time of year. So I wanted to use strawberries. That was duh. And I also wanted to just keep it really simple and have strawberries and herbs go really well together. I've done it with basil, strawberry and basil, and like balsamic is so beautiful. I do a smash with that sometimes. But this is more like a brandy old fashioned. If you know an old fashioned, it's a really simple cocktail. It's normally with whiskey. It's really, it's with like a little bit of sweet and some bitters. And that's it. It's on the rocks. It's a stirred drink. And this is more, it's sort of in between like a brandy old fashioned and a smash, because we are going to do a little muddling. We got strawberries, fresh strawberries here that I just got today. And so California strawberries, everything's local. And mints, and there's some like really medicinal properties of mint too, right, Angela?
Yeah.
There's and some magical properties. Yeah.
Mint is a really fun one. If you're hoping to call in money, and I'm just like, who the hell isn't? Take a mint leaf, put it in your wallet, and it will attract more dollars, more money to your wallet.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So strawberries also have a lot of medicinal qualities, but they also have a lot of magical properties too, and so much fertility comes up. Strawberries represent fertility. They also represent this sort of they can kind of grow anywhere. They will propagate anywhere, and that's sort of like there's a lot of resilience with strawberries. Like they will be dangling from a fence and be barely hanging on, and they will have like little baby strawberries. And so women used to carry dried strawberry leaves in their pockets to protect their pregnancies a lot of times.
Yep.
And it was a part of a lot of medicine women's ingredients and witches' work. So we're going to muddle the mint and the strawberries. And then we're just going to add a little bit of simple syrup. This is we're going to do like just a half an ounce of demerara, which is like a raw sugar. And then about 2 ounces of cognac.
Oh, yeah.
This is a beautiful cognac house, Hine, in the Cognac region in France. And I brought this bottle back with me when I visited them. And this is one of my favorites. It makes a lovely cocktail, and it's lovely on its own.
What are we calling this one again? Something French.
This is the Strawberry Moon.
Oh, are we calling
right?
it Strawberry Moon?
The Strawberry Moon? No. Or the Lune Fraise, which is Strawberry Moon in French, because, you know, French cognac and that kind of works. It's pretty. It's like
Agreed.
And you said it's like the lunar phase.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
yeah. So, and then you just add ice to this, and then I need to stir a little bit. So maybe I'll get a spoon while you talk. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna actually top this off with like a little bit of soda water.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
And then stir it up. Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. But yeah, if you can talk about mint a little bit more. I feel like there's there's a lot of beautiful things about mint.
So mint is a great one for protecting against negativity. So let's say you work in a toxic environment, take a freaking mint plant in there and put it on your desk. I mean, if it's really toxic, you don't have any sunlight, so that's a bummer. And mint is very hardy. It's basically, whenever I've grown mints in my gardens, I have to keep it in its own pot because it will spread. Mint helps in the third eye. It is a symbol of money.
Oh, right. I love that. I think that's so great.
Yeah, I freaking love mint. I love to eat it. It's great for settling your stomach. Peppermint tea.
Yes.
Peppermint tea.
It's great for digestion.
Yes, peppermint tea is really good. All women are supposed to be drinking a peppermint tea every day because it actually will balance your hormones. Like it's not inconclusive. They've really found truth to this. So doctors studied, and peppermint tea, 1 cup a day is amazing for us.
I love that.
And I love mojitos.
And I know. I like my my sodas to have like a lot of bubbles. It needs to be really effortless.
Me too.
So I would garnish this with a strawberry.
Ooh.
We'll just put this in here for now, but I'm gonna try it. Oh my God, so good. So some medicinal properties of strawberry.
I'm gonna drink my soda.
Yeah. Some medicinal properties are: it reduces blood pressure, reduces risk of cancer, it reduces frequent constipation, heart disease, reduces risk of stroke. And then some magical properties is that there's a lot of fertility. It enhances fertility, promotes love by overcoming barriers and issues, brings luck, and it's all problem solving and becoming stronger, which is represented there. So I love that. And we are going to talk about charging spirits a little bit. I think not many people know about that under the full moon, like what that means.
Yeah. You can also put crystals in your spirits and charge them with the crystal's energy as well.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It's so amazing, the stuff that you can do with crystals and the moon. And that's not a bad idea to like do them simultaneously, drop the crystal in and put it in the moonlight.
Yeah.
And you should charge things with intention. You should do everything with intent. And,
right.
I set my bottles out last full moon. I set them all out and I was like, health and happiness. It's like all I want when I drink. I just want health and happiness.
Yeah.
I feel it when I drink.
Yeah.
Then I can drink more if I feel healthy.
And
solar charging actually works too. So if you don't live in a tiny apartment in LA and you can leave your stuff out all night, what a luxury, which I concur.
Yeah.
But you can also solar charge things. There's a lot of power in both elements, and it doesn't matter. If you leave them out in the sun. Of course, you don't really want to leave all your business in the sun. But
it's so interesting. When you first told me about charging, that you could charge your liquor, your spirits, and I was like, oh, that's something I'd never thought about. But it's the one used in alcohol, and it's been medicinal for hundreds and hundreds of years, and humans have done it, is because alcohol, there is the alchemical properties of alcohol is that things bind to it so easily.
It's amazing.
So beautifully. It's like, it really is magic. It really is that, the water of life, the eau de vie. It's like there is something about it that it does, like even the distillation process where you have, and it's all magic in there. So cheers. Now I'm just getting a little buzzed.
I know, me too. I mean, isn't that the point of a full moon? Yeah, you should go full pagan on the full moon. Like, this is a time to get really, really wild. This is also my favorite thing about the full moon is the banishing aspect. And even though I do, sorry, I'm burping because I'm having bubble water. I do believe in the manifestation. Like I've done a lot of like witch jars and sugar jars and things like that to call in all kinds of stuff on full moons. But the best thing about it is kind of like obliterating roadblocks. I saw somebody one time made a manifestation list and burnt it on the full moon, and I was like, oh God, no, like that's not the thing you burn. That's the thing.
Right. You don't burn your manifestation list, right? You burn your banishment list.
Yes.
You're trying to banish it.
Yes. It's like witchcraft is not esoteric. You know what I mean? Like you should know your basics, but for the most part, it's like, well, setting something on fire seems like a good way to get rid of it. And it is, that's why you should not burn things that matter. You should put them in a jar, fill them with maple syrup and some other things. We should totally do a sugar jar episode to manifest. Yeah, right? So I made a list of what I consider my roadblocks and the things that are keeping me from the goals I set, the intention I set with the new moon. You can put specific people on this list, and I encourage it. If you have, someone I worked with was being harassed, and I had him burn the list, but the ashes, like if you have a tiny cauldron, and you all should because they're adorable and they're so easy. And
everyone should have a tiny cauldron. That's going to be in our merch. That'll be in our merch store. Tiny cauldrons.
Tiny cauldron. There's a hot pink. Oh my God, we should be drinking out of tiny cauldrons. We've got to go down this road.
Oh my God, we do.
There's a pink one on eBay right now that I'm like, don't buy it. You have a real cauldron, and then I'm like, do buy it. So I'm trying not to buy a hot pink cauldron, but it's how it's probably going to turn out. So
I know you.
So if you have a tiny cauldron, burning your list, and that makes sense because then you have the ashes to do whatever you wish with the ashes. However, if it's something that you just want to obliterate, like, exes, although, if you're worried about an ex coming back, this is a good way to do it too. If you can burn it in a manner of keeping the ashes, sprinkle them across your threshold of your doorway and then sweep them out. So after you burn it, it's part of like the little ritual, and that's just a beautiful, super easy block on a person. You can also freeze so let's say you have some horrible person who's talking total trash on you at work or in your family. I mean, we all have a horrible person in our lives. So you can write their name on a piece of paper, put it in your freezer, which is like, the intent is to freeze up their tongue. Then with the full moon, you burn their name, and then you do the same thing. You sprinkle it across the doorway, you keep it out.
Yeah. So that's like next level banishment. Like you're burning that shit, and then you're like, oh, and bye, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra.
Yeah.
Kick you to the curb.
Easy, one and done kind of step. And it's just so good to do. I love that. I love all of it. And what people don't realize is like a hex and a curse are totally different. A hex is when you just send the energy back. You say no UPS, take it back. I don't want it.
No UPS.
But when it gets dark.
Yeah.
Or not. Some witches don't believe in dark and light. I personally do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I love that you talk openly about that too.
Hey, thanks. And I think there are times when you got to let that dark side out. I mean, I feel like I have really great capacity for totally ruining someone's life. And then sometimes I think like, wow, I really hope someone gives me the opportunity to test how powerful I could be at a curse. But I actually don't want that because that means
but I don't know. I don't want that.
It's like that fantasy of I want to beat a man to death with my bare hands. An attack.
Oh my God.
It's hard to.
All right, it just got real dark. It got real dark, Angela.
I mean, it is a little. So, this is my list of my personal roadblocks, and I usually, I'm a very independent person. I put most of the blame on me, even when scenarios pan out, and I'm like, they did the wrong thing, but how could I have done a better thing on my behalf? I mean, I really blame myself at all times because you can't control other people. I mean, you can magic, but you shouldn't. So oh my God, that reminds me of something about strawberries that I wanted to say, that since we're going here. Strawberries are a really great one to attract love. If you really wanted to, and this is a little bit manipulative, but it will wear off. Menstrual blood is not a big deal. I mean, it is, because there's not consent usually in this. So,
all right, we waited to the 3rd episode to mention menstrual blood.
It's so funny because I have this reputation of talking about menstrual blood and piss every chance I get, but they are.
I'm glad we waited.
So you could soak strawberries, ideally in moon water with a tiny bit of your menstrual blood in them, and then feed them to whoever you want to desire you. And it won't last forever, and it won't make them fall in love with you, but oh my God, they will be obsessed with you for a hot minute. And maybe that turns into love. Who cares? Maybe you just wanted to have some full moon sex. I mean, who doesn't? It's a full moon. So, this is my list of my own personal bullshit. And I don't put people on this list usually. I will reserve their names for other things, but I'm also pretty good at cutting cords and keeping people, because as a professional psychic, I have to channel people and their pets all the time.
Oh my God, and their pets.
I just the most fabulous chicken, and I'm like in love with her. I have like a total crush on a chicken right now. I love her energy. Amazing. She's a little queen. She thinks she's the queen, and everybody's her. I mean,
aren't most chickens like that?
I hope so. You know what? I need
little queenie.
Yes, little queens. So anyway, where was I? Okay, so the list. So you can put people on it, but I really like to make it personal about my own shortcomings, or just like little blocks, you know. You know, people have ideas. You know, you look at someone and you say, wow, they're so great, and why can't they find somebody? They probably have issues and patterns that they need to break, and the full moon the time for that. And that cycle I took, I broke patterns galore, which is why I'm still single, because when you raise the bar, it's harder to find people who will reach it, you know? But, so this is my list. I get real weird with this list. One of my favorite things to do is start writing the list, like when the moon cycle starts, just keep adding to it. I'll go to spin classes. I'll put it in my sports bra. I'll sweat all over it. Like, I'll get my stink and like sweat, and I mean blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? Then I burn it. I burn it on the full moon. And I have to say,
I like that.
Yeah, it's been really effective. It's very cathartic. So we're gonna burn this one right now.
All right.
In this beautiful fire pit. That's not even at all scary. There it goes. Yay, fire. Take it away.
I love that. So it's not technically the full moon right now. We've got a few more days until that happens. So, but you can do this preemptively, or should you wait to the actual full moon?
Yeah. I'm just acting, Prairie.
Okay. No, I'm just checking in. I'm a newbie. I'm a new witch. So I'm learning all these things. So so wait until the actual full moon to do that. But I do love that idea. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it on June 5th.
Yes. You don't even have to wait for the full moon. I mean, you can write stuff down and burn it anytime, and it still has the same intent behind it. And I'm a big advocate of that. I am a big banisher. You know, people say like purge.
Yeah.
Banish.
Yeah. You're Marie Kondoing that. You're the shit out of your life, right? You're just like, doesn't bring joy.
Yeah, no sparking of joy in that list. So yeah, I Marie Kondoed it.
Oh my God.
I feel like, there's a lot of like prophecy and protection and divination. So if you're just even one of the many people who's like, I want to hear my guides better, this is a great time to ask. It's a great time to put your home. I mean, any freaking magic can be done under the full moon, but basically it's a great source of love. Oh, and this full moon is in Sagittarius, and
I know
it's only the best sign of the zodiac. My son
I know. I thought of you when I saw that. I was like, ooh, this moon's in Sagittarius.
Yes.
So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for everybody?
So moons rule our emotions. The sun is in Gemini, and the full moon and the sun will always be opposite. They're all it's when they're just like right across from each other.
Right.
So the sun is in Gemini, and Gemini is like fun, communicative, talky, gossipy, and then Sag is like the philosopher, also high energy and spirited. I remember there was a Thanksgiving, like 2 Thanksgivings ago, where it was a full moon in Sagittarius, or the sun was in Sag and the moon was in Gemini. And it was one of the best nights of my life. It was the funnest Thanksgiving I've ever had. I went to like 5 parties in LA, and I had put money down on this land that I ended up buying, but it was in the works. I put in an offer, and the offer was really low. I put in the lowest offer that I was legally allowed to put in. And that night, under the full moon, I had my friend drive me. I mean, it was like 5 a.m. I peed on the land, and I was like, "You are mine," and I marked it. And this is a very easy technique for anybody. Like, as one of the listeners to my podcast told me, she wanted a trailer, and it was parked somewhere where they could go see it, and they were trying to get it, and there were a lot of people who wanted it. And she snuck in one night and peed on the tire, and then they got the trailer. So peeing on stuff is real. Oh my God! And one time, my ex, who you met right after we broke up. And I was a little sad about that. I peed on his Prius, and who texted me the next day? But I had sobered up, and I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Did he text you and say to ask about why you peed in the Prius, or he didn't know?
No, he would love
to
reconnect. He would love to reconnect.
Right.
Yeah, you did, because I peed on your
Oh, wanted to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The old love to reconnect. No, I'm good.
Oh my God. Well, I'm excited about this full moon coming up. I feel like I'm going to write down my roadblocks and burn them. I'm going to charge some booze, but I'm going to put out some crystals to charge too. So I don't always take part in full moon activities, but I feel like it's now my duty. I got to do it. So, and I'm looking forward to it. I feel like there's this is such a weird time. I think so many people are connecting. They're connecting psychically and spiritually in ways that we haven't before. And so I think, I think us coming together and doing this project too is, I think it's perfect timing for me and for you. And,
it has been turned inward. We're all looking inside now. It's great. It's going to be great.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have the recipe for the strawberry moon or the Lune Fraise in our show notes and YouTube video here. And we'll also have some notes from Angela about the full moon and banishment and
urinating.
Urinating, possibly menstrual blood,
Flipping menstrual blood to your paramour.
Menstrual blood, dipped strawberries, all the romantic stuff. So, well, thank you for joining us on another Conjure the Cocktail, our very 3rd episode, right?
Yes, and
I feel like
fabulous number.
Pretty good. So,
I feel real good. I feel great.
Yeah, me too. So, cheers to you in Florida. I wish I was sitting next to the bonfire. That looks so nice.
It's really nice. I feel like I have to sit here until it dies. The triple fire.
Yeah.
Can't waste.
Just stare into it.
You notice as soon as we said that it went way down?
Ooh, I didn't notice.
There are no coincidences. Fire is life. Oh, God. I'm so happy. Tequila's amazing. Well, I hope my mother's neighbors enjoyed this episode as I sit outside and talk about bleeding and peeing on.
Oh, yes.
Trump country. I'm a witch in Trump country. So.
You are. Yeah, that's a challenge. You're like a strawberry. Very resilient.
Just
bringing it back. And do you want to give people our ending tagline here?
Oh yeah.
Our sign off.
Oh yes, but first follow us on Instagram, right? Conjure the
Yes.
Conjure Cocktail.
Conjure the Cocktail.
On Facebook, we started a secret group that we haven't contributed to yet, but get in on it.
We're gonna
make that a Patreon thing if you don't get in on it. We haven't done a Patreon yet, so get in there. Do we have anything else to promote? I have a podcast called This Is Where the Magic Happens with the very funny Ryan Singer, paranormal investigator and comedian. Prairie has a fabulous podcast.
I have a podcast called Bit by Fox podcast that's all about drinking and booze, and I interview the people that shape the way we drink around the world, and it drops on Friday. I'm interviewing the director of communications from the Champagne region, and he talks about climate change. So that's an interesting one.
God.
Yeah. That's
I
it.
can't wait for our witchy retreats to the south of France, where we do lavender and cognac and all the.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I know. It's going to be fabulous.
There's also an amazing witch town on the cusp of Italy and France that's up in the hills.
Oh, of course there is.
Of course there is.
There's lots of witch activity there.
Lots.
You could feel it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I can't wait. Anyway, the future's so bright. You got to wear shades. Whatever. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. And please subscribe and like and write nice comments. And yeah, don't drink like a basic witch.
Cheers.
Yeah.